Liz. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Pretty well. How do you think the last week has gone? Were you able to get your homework done?
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty good. I tried to do like the homework of talking to Matt, and that did not
You
go well.
struggled with that a little bit. I was wondering about that because we kind of ran out of time the last time. We just kind of talked about the advantages and disadvantages of being able to approach him, and we didn't really get a chance to talk too much further than that. So we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Other than that, this week, was it pretty good, do you feel?
Yeah, classes went well. Talked to my parents, so
Good.
It was good.
How about your mood? How would you say that's doing?
I feel like a 5 or 6. The thing with Matt just happened, so I'm still kind of bummed about that.
Okay. So I think what I'm hearing on the agenda today is that you want to talk some more about this math stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there anything else that needs to be talked about?
No, that's kind of the main thing from the week.
Okay. Well, the only other thing that I'm going to add to our agenda that we'll kind of start with today, so we can kind of sit with it for a little bit, is just kind of talking about termination. We've really been working hard, so I want to start with reviewing your treatment goals.
Okay.
So here's a copy of your treatment plan. You can kind of see I highlighted into the 4 categories that we were working on. So the first one was academics. We kind of talked a lot about your stress and anxiety and just not feeling very smart. How would you say that we've done on that?
I think I'm feeling a lot better about school, so
feeling like you're managing it a lot better. Good. And then we talked about work, and how you kind of felt like you were kind of isolated more and that you were deliberately getting tasks delegated to you and that kind of thing. How do you feel work is going?
Well, I think it's a little better just because we've gotten some new people, but I still don't feel like 100% like comfortable that I can approach my boss about, everything that's going on.
Right. Okay. Well, and that's normal, It's kind of hard to address your boss and be clear about what you're wanting from him.
Okay.
And then the last one we kind of labeled it as relationships, and that kind of meant, your relationships with your peers, but also personal relationships, intimate relationships. How do you feel like we've done there?
Well, I think my friendships have just gotten a little better since I'm feeling better and I'm doing more things. That made that easier. And then, the other stuff's okay.
So probably out of these 3, it's still like the intimate relationships that you're feeling most uncomfortable. Okay. Good. How do you think these tie in with your credit list?
I think there's some things I wrote down, kind of like the academics that, my first thing on here for this week was that I got a B on my science test. And I think before I would have been really upset about that because that's not good enough. But then when I got that, I wasn't that upset this week. That's kind of what the rest of the class did. That was pretty average. So I don't know. I think it just helps me see that there's things that I'm doing that are okay, that aren't that bad. So
good. So out of the items that you have listed on your credit list, what do you think is working the best for you right now?
What do you mean? Just making the list, or what's
what's keeping you? I know today is kind of a setback, but what's keeping you in a positive mood and kind of a more optimistic outlook?
I think just realizing the fact that I'm doing okay, that everything isn't as awful as I thought, because it's kind of like the whole world was against me and everything was bad, and it's really not. So I think just visualizing that sometimes, that makes me feel a little better.
Good. Alrighty. So as you can kind of see from our treatment plan, it really does seem like we're both on the same page, that we're meeting the goals, and that I would tend to agree that, personal relationships is probably the area we haven't really spent a lot of time on, just because, on our priority list, that was kind of low. So, I also wanted to introduce to you, as we're kind of getting more towards lessening our sessions, this is a self-therapy guide. So, if you're kind of feeling like, we talked about how I'm going to be moving to about 2 weeks, every 2 weeks I would see you. So
after this time, or okay.
So in between that time, just to kind of add to your homework, and if you're feeling like you need to process things more, I'd like you to kind of refer back to the self-therapy guide. This is kind of what we automatically already do in session, so it shouldn't feel too overwhelming. But take a look at it. If you've got any questions or concerns, you can give me a call in between the 2 weeks that we see each other. We'll kind of go from there.
Okay. Do I fill in the blanks on here, or just kind of go through the steps?
Whatever you feel comfortable with. It may be more helpful if you did write it down
Okay.
in the journal that you've been keeping, but if not, if it's one of those things you can just remember, then just go for it.
Okay.
Alrighty. So that'll kind of be the process for the next couple of weeks, is just, stepping down our sessions so that it's every 2 weeks that we meet, and hopefully, as we tackle this last issue, we're able to stay in a good, stable environment and terminate. So what do you think about that?
I think that sounds okay. I mean, overall things are going a lot better, so I think we'll probably be okay.
Good. And you've also done a really good job at really building up your social network again. You've outreach more to your parents. It seems like you and your parents are more on the same page again. And like you said, your friendships have just kind of fallen in line as you've kind of put the pieces back together in your life. So I think that's a good thing.
Okay, me too.
All right, so let's talk about the Matt thing. What happened?
Well, nothing like that bad. Like last session, we talked about trying to approach him and like make some plans of something we could do together. So like 2 days ago, I texted him and just said, "What are you doing this weekend?" And then he answered me and said, "Oh, I'm going to this party." And then that was like all he said. So it wasn't like, "Do you want to come? Do you want to do anything?" So I just didn't know like what that meant, and I didn't want to be like, "Oh, want to do something," something with me and like jump in there. So it just was kind of uncomfortable, and I just dropped it after that.
Okay. So that kind of made you feel really down after that. Okay. So are you kind of feeling like flooded with negative thoughts and feelings right now?
Kind of, because I feel like he just kind of blew me off. Like there's no way I would have a chance with him.
Well, sometimes when we feel really down, our negative mood just triggers a lot of those negative thoughts. So, what are some of those negative thoughts that you've been having?
Like I said, just like that he doesn't want to spend time with me. Like, I don't know, I'm not cool enough to hang out with.
Okay, so you kind of went back to those core beliefs of feeling loveless and you'll always be lonely and those kind of things.
Okay, very much. So.
Well, let's try an experiment. I'd like for you to close your eyes and try to relax. We're going to work on creating positive feelings. Try to concentrate on those positive feelings when you were in a better mood. How are you feeling?
I mean, I feel okay.
Let's look at how you think about this incident with Matt. Is there any positive or neutral thoughts about what he had done?
I mean, I guess maybe, like I said, it wasn't really clear. Maybe he didn't understand that I wanted to hang out. Like maybe he just thought I asked, "What are you doing this weekend?" Like just because I was curious, I guess. I don't know. So
you've kind of done some reflecting. Maybe you could have made it more clear.
Yeah, I wrote about it in my journal last week too. So.
Okay. Is there anything else, any other positives that maybe you were able to get done because you didn't hang out with him?
I mean, yeah, I studied a lot for school and got some homework done, and
good.
So that was good.
Good, definitely. Anything else that came good out of this?
I mean, I guess I just tried. I haven't really put myself out there before, so not that it was like a great attempt. It didn't work, obviously, but I did it.
Right. Well, yeah, that's definitely good. I think you're giving yourself some credit right there. Is that you tried, you've kind of reflected on this, and now you know maybe in the future I need to be more clear. Good, that's great. How does that thought make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel a little better. Like it's not my fault, or like it's not just me that he didn't want to hang out with.
Makes you feel a little bit more hopeful.
Good.
Does this shift tell you anything about how you're changing your mood, changes your thinking?
I think so. I mean, just thinking like about positive things before we started made like everything more positive. Whereas when it happened, I was like way more negative about everything. So it seems like a big deal.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what we learned is that our feelings can affect how we think about things, which influence our behavior. I know that you like reminder cards, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of summarize this on your own.
Okay, right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
This way, just in case if you try this again this week, you kind of have that reminder as to these are some of the positives. This is the learning experience I'm getting from this activity. And then I also wanted to give you this handout. This is just a copy of what we just did. You can kind of see like when you're feeling more in a negative mood, it kind of highlights your negative thoughts and your negative feelings, and what are some alternatives to that. So what are some of the positive things? So like I said, we just did that. So if there's something else that comes up over the next 2 weeks that you feel like you want to journal about, you can kind of use this to guide you.
Okay.
All right. So this kind of focused on our cognitive thoughts. What would you like to do this week in terms of your behavior changes?
I guess I could try talking to him again and just being a little more direct. Like, I know that some of my friends are going to a movie this weekend. Maybe I could actually invite him to that.
Okay.
And that way it's a clear yes or no, and I kind of know and not have to keep worrying about it.
So do you feel like maybe we should role play that?
No, I don't know. I feel
pretty comfortable.
Okay about it. Yeah.
What do you think is the likelihood that you're going to be able to actually invite him?
I think it's pretty likely.
Yeah.
Maybe 8, 9.
An 8 or 9. Good. And what if he tells you no?
I think I'll be kind of upset, but like you said, I do like having those response cards there. So maybe just stopping and thinking about some of those things, taking a minute to breathe and stuff would help me. So it wouldn't be as big of a deal.
Do you think this is an issue that maybe your parents can relate to you about? Do you think they've ever felt the rejection from a male or a female?
Well, enough I want to talk to him about.
Okay.
Okay.
Weird. What about one of your friends? Do you feel like you have a friend that you really trust with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's the other follow-up piece is if you've asked Matt and it doesn't work out, maybe you can follow up with one of your friends in addition to journaling.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty, well, we are just about out of time, so what did you think about today's session?
I thought it was good. Made me feel a lot better.
Okay. All right, so we still have lots of homework that we're working on. You continuing to do your credit list, continuing to journal. We just kind of came up with that new assignment to repeat approaching Matt. I think you're still working on scheduling time in with your friends and trying to balance that with schoolwork. So keep that up. And really keep up that self-care stuff. Senior year is about ready to be done, so you just need to keep that positive attitude.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well then I will see you in 2 weeks.
Okay.